Good morning, everyone, and good morning, Klára. I hope you're doing fine.
Hi, thank you. Good morning to everybody.
I welcome you all on the international stage of Equal Care Day 2023. Thank you for tuning into our panel, and of course, special thanks to our guest today for sharing her knowledge with us. And today's session will focus on the interrelation of care and arts, and for that purpose, we have invited our expert Klára Čmolíková Cozlová. I think I pronounced that right. From the Academy of Fine Arts in Prague. I firstly want to introduce myself quickly. My name is Jana Rapp, and I'm going to moderate this international stage, but I'm also part of the Equal Care Day initiative. Since 2020, I have been supporting it in different areas, such as public communications. Right now, I'm more on the administrative side. But besides my commitment for the ECD, I'm studying social sciences with a great interest in feminist thinking. And beyond that, have been involved in other international cooperations, mostly regarding civil society bridges and democracy building with countries from Central Asia and the South Caucasus. So from that experience and knowing how fruitful it is, I'm very excited for the Equal Care Day going international. And for the audience, to give you a short overview of what to expect, I will first introduce Klára, and then Klára will hold her presentation, and then we will follow up with a discussion, and where you, dear audience, is invited to post questions. You can write them down in the chat area. When you move your avatar a little bit to the right of the stage, it should pop up, and I'm going to keep an eye on that. So yeah, I'm going to start with the presentation of Klára. Please, if I'm wrong somewhere, you have to add something, interrupt me, and in the end,
Thank you very much. Sorry for interruption. It's quite a bit task to work online, but it helps us to be in a connection, even from Prague back to you, to Germany. And I'm very happy and pleased that I can be a part of Equal Care Day, because it's a very important day. And hopefully it will be much more seen than 29th of February, because equal care is absolutely the topic which should be risen in all our speech for the future. I will start with my presentation now. I will hope that everything will going fine, but I'm very happy that Jana is here.
Klára, I just wanted to introduce you first, and then you could start.
Okay, well, great.
That works for you. Okay. So Klára studied social work and gender studies, and during her studies, she developed an interest for different forms of discrimination, gender-sensitive social work, and as well as the interrelation of labor markets, gender, and age. She has worked in different fields, among that in social services and nonprofit organizations, and she is also a gender auditor. Since 2014, she has been working at the NGO Gender Studies in Prague in projects focusing on labor markets and gender equality. And since 2018, she holds the position of Vice President of the Czech Gender Expert Chamber, a platform with the agenda to integrate gender perspectives into the state policies, but as well the private sector. And since 2022, she's the head of Department for Gender Equality, Inclusion and Diversity at the Academy of Fine Arts, which is also going to be her main focus today. So I hope that is all right and incomplete. Just add something.
Yeah, it was a broad introduction, so I will skip my first part. In the beginning, I would like just to say a few words about me, but I will be much more personal. So I will start with the sharing. But host disabled participants screen sharing. So
that was
yeah, but don't worry. in the meantime, when you will enable me to share the presentation, I can continue in speaking.
Okay, wait, you should be able to share now.
Because I will speak about my own experience. And yeah, as Jana said, I'm based in gender studies, so I think that it's necessary to clear up the standpoint from which I am speaking to you at the moment, and the standpoint which somehow has been embedded in my knowledge and understanding of the equal care. So in this way, thank you for introducing my work experience, but I think that it's also necessary to say that I'm a mother. I'm a daughter. I have been a granddaughter, and those are the stages which also based my knowledge. I have two sons. They are 5 and 8 years old, so I think they're quite small, and I know, or I have my own experience of caring for them. And as I've said that I'm a granddaughter, when I have been pregnant, my grandfather became very fragile, and I took him to my apartment with my partner, and we provide him the last care till his last days. So those are the things which somehow situate my knowledge. Of course, there is also a knowledge based on really theory, and I have admitted I have studied social work, and therefore the caring is somehow embedded in all my work. Also, you have introduced me as head of gender equality, inclusion and diversity unit at the Academy of Fine Arts. Over there, I am quite new, despite the fact that nearly I will be there 1 year. I started in June 2022. And I have had to accommodate a little bit into the culture of Academy of the Fine Arts. And over there, what seems to me very interesting is that the ethics of care is somehow in the center of the attention. We will be speaking about it during my session a little bit, and we will touch it in the final slides. But this is something which brings me very much enthusiasm into the future days. As I've said, that it will be probably the topic for our future, and we as Academy of Fine Arts are very happy that we would like to raise it and push it forward in everyday life and even in institutional life. So, what I would like to share with you today, my main goal is to outline the connected terms and issues with Czech labor market and specific segment of arts. I will rise on my experience on Academy of Fine Arts and highlight the barriers to reach equal care in the arts, or at least to show how important is to raise the question about equal care even in the arts, and not only as a subject, but also as objects and also as a creators. In this way, I will go through the short introductory data on a national and institutional level. I will share with you few graphs, and in the end of my presentation, I would like to tackle our joint initiative towards Equal Care Day tonight, because it's probably it's absolutely normal. We are speaking in Czech, and this event is for us a little bit difficult. We have said that it would be very nice to have also possibility to share our experiences and knowledges all together on our Academy of the Fine Arts, and we will have a special evening tonight. Well, I will be very happy if you interrupt me, if you pose the questions, ask the questions. If there is a part of for the discussion, I will think on it and I will try to finish at 11:50. Well, to have at least 10 minutes of the discussion. But if you have anything in your mind, just post it into the chat, and Jana will let me know, remind me to stop speaking and focus on it. Well, also, I have been introduced as part of the studies.
Do you just want to switch into presentation mode in the PowerPoint so we can see your slides a bit better? Because right now we're seeing like the, you know, when you go to presentation and then go into the presentation mode.
Yeah, I've got presentation mode, sorry.
Okay, because I'm seeing just your usual PowerPoint screen. But if not, yeah.
Sorry, now, one.
No, but if not, it doesn't matter.
No,
like it's
no, because if it's not there, I can start right now, right here. Now.
Yeah. No. And if you go on to presentation, like in the top.
Yes. And over there, you see my mouse?
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, and then you click on it and it goes into presentation mode? Because we don't see it.
Because in my screen, yeah, it's working like a presentation mode. So sorry for those.
No, it's no problem. I just, but it's okay. Like we can still follow. It doesn't matter.
I really don't understand it. Why it's not working? Okay, I'll try this one again. Well, now something changes.
Oh well, it's okay.
I'm really sorry because here
there has to be some kind of technical issue, I guess. So.
Yeah, this is not a connection between Czech and German. So yeah, we see it in real that we've got still some borders. So sorry for that. I'm not very technically skilled, so a little bit problematic this online. Well, however, yeah, I've been speaking about the gender studies, and I would like to speak a little bit about gender studies because gender studies is one of the oldest NGO focused on human rights and women's rights and gender issue in Czech Republic. It was founded in 1991, right after the Velvet Revolution, by famous Czech sociologist and thinker Jana Šiková. We've got over there her picture, and she has brought the attention towards the gender issue, and between the topics of labor market over there has been always big attention paid to the equal care because it's about stereotypes, it's about the position of women in the society and the impact on the labor market. Just for a short introduction, I would like just to mention also that gender studies around public library focused on gender studies and women's rights, feminism, and men's studies. And over there, if you will have a time in Prague someday, you are very invited to arrive because you can find a lot of stuff focused also on equal care. But in the grow of my presentation, let's speak about fine arts. Academy of Fine Arts in Prague has been finally established in 1799. However, the first attempt to establish it or to found it was in 1709. There have been organization of the enlightened patriots who really push for having real Czech fine art, Academy of the Fine Arts, and finally they have succeeded. As you see on the picture, it is one of the sculpture schools or studios over there, and
Clara, we still see the slide with gender studies. Yeah. No.
Don't understand why. Well, does it help when I try to work like
That's good.
this?
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. So over there are mainly men who are the sculptor, who are the artists, and women as the object. Therefore, I've used this one picture, which shows that after 222 years, we are not very far away from that stage. Women still are mainly the object of the art, despite the fact that a big part of the attendees and students in universities are women. They somehow disappear during the system, and it's the similar situation as so-called linking pipe in the academy and a university as such, and it applies also into the art. There is nearly half of men and women as students, but when we have in our mind the artists, and when we see in reality who are the practitioners and artists, they are usually associated with men. Less than 4% of the artists in museums are usually a woman. So there's a big discrepancies, and we can see, or we can ask why. What is it? And I'm back into the gender stereotypes. Despite the fact that we are half-half, some men and women in Czech Republic too, we can see that our marital status differs and changes during the lifetime approaches. There is a big part of widow women, which is not similarly shown on the men's side, as well as there is quite big amount of women who are divorced and men divorced. Despite this fact, those are the topics which underline the stereotypes which are connected with men and women and their position in the society. We can see gender equality index in Czech Republic for 2022 based on a European institution EG, which calculates it on Eurostat statistics, and which show us that how that Czech Republic is not very well in gender equality as such on the labor market. And our experience, or my next slide will show that it applies also into the arts. We, as a Czech Republic, are 23rd country according to the index in the European Union. So we are much more on the bottom, not on the top. And it is connected mainly with the question of power, but also with the question of care, of time, and using the time. When I'm going down into the time and care activities in this sector, we can see that women provide care very often, and much more often than men. Czech men are less often involved into the care than European average. And it applies also into the doing cooking, household chores, etc. We see really that Czech men are somehow reluctant to participate into those care work. This is the problem which underlines also the status of women in the employment market. And we can see that somehow the care is embedded in this understanding of labor and work understanding. And we have to admit that also art is the work. I'm sorry, I start to be a little bit nervous all the time, so I will skip this slide very quickly. If you will be interested, I will be speaking much more in depth, and you can ask me. But as I said, we can see also work, art as a work, and it should be seen as a work, because despite the fact that artists are usually freelancers, which has an impact on their employee status and their claims to have a stable income or employment. And it has also the impact if afterwards into pension schemes and the necessity of being the adolescents of care of the others, because they quit out of the labor market and also the social systems. There is a big precarity and uncertainty. And there is expectation of higher demands for greater involvement, means involvement in time, energy, not only creating art, but also the selling and management of selling the art and selling myself generally. And this has a big impact on the representation and equal representation of women over there. So if we can have a look over there into the horizontal vertical gender segregation and impact into the art, we have to admit that, yeah, there are still those stereotypes based on a portrait of what is or who is the real artist, strong single authority, and usually someone without care responsibilities. It's someone like a boheme, but someone who is free of the responsibilities, and care responsibilities are not usually foreseen. So therefore, on AVU there started a lot of initiatives, mainly based from the bottom up, from the students who ask the question. Sorry, those are Czech because it's all over in our academy, sticked out, and we can see those stickers, and they're quite important. They're asking why why does the painters stop to give birth to become famous, or why from the beginning of AVU, Academy of the Fine Arts, haven't been let any studios of the painting by women? Yes, this is those are the main question. Why are there, or why are there women, but they are not in the head positions? Does they have to stop to have a children? Does the care responsibility stop their art? And is it necessary? Those questions are absolutely okay, and I have to say that I have made a small research over there in 2018 over there in the head of the studios. There have been, and still I think yes, because we've got around 5 years around of having a head of the studios. There is 7 women out of 22 head positions, so we are only in 1/3. There is only a part of women between the academics. There is 28 women between the academics and 44 men. At the moment, in 2021, the rector is new woman, Maria Topolchanska, and she is the first woman over there. And she brought also, as I've said, 2022, I started my my job. She brought the attention to this topic too. And we started to switch the mode and ask the gender question and ask the question about equal care, about equal representation, about non-discrimination, and but also about diversity, inclusion, and switch towards the topic of care ethics, I would say. Really, we are caring for the students. We are interested in their own experience and in their own situation, but of course also the situation of the students are very different and very wide and diverse. But similar applies to the employees, to the teachers, to the lecturers, to the head of the studios. Everybody has own experiences, and usually we encounter they've got also big care situations in their history, and we would like to facilitate it also thanks to the new coming people and new coming guidance and counseling system, which is covered by my unit. So this is our state at the moment, and I said that I would like to make a call for the action. We will have tonight the event, like a panel discussion, and it's open for everybody, of course, personally, or we will stream it afterwards, or we will use the video afterwards, put it on our web pages. But for the next year, we hope that more Czech institution will join us, and we will be a real part of Equal Care Day International. And the Czech situation and Czech part will be much more louder. So I've said that there are a few minutes, nearly 10 minutes for the discussion, but
you have to worry that like you don't have to hurry that much. Like we have still time. Don't.
We of course can discuss it, and now we've got a time also for having a few practical steps. We've got ahead as Academy of Fine Arts. Here are a few questions we would like to raise during tonight's session, but probably it could be interesting also for your thoughts, because when speaking about equal care, we should also say how to change it or how to facilitate it, and what are our possibilities to change the system on an individual, on the societal, as well as on the institutional level. And those questions, would be great to have the right answers. If anybody has a right answer or has an experience, of course, the discussion is open. Anybody?
Thank you, Klára. I think right now we don't have any questions, but I think you can stop sharing your screen. Maybe there will be some popping up. So.
Well.
Perfect. So thank you again for that interesting insight. I think we had all of the takeaways. And I was actually wondering, could you maybe explain a little bit more about your position and what projects you are doing? Does it also regard care, or yeah?
As I said, I'm just in the beginning and my position get to settle down a little bit. So at the moment, I'm open for everything, and my imagination is quite wide. However, it's also about the resources and possibilities. The gender inclusion and diversity unit focus on those topics. So in those ways, we would like to support or to provide the counseling. There is at the moment the psychological counseling for the students as well as for the employees. I provide HR counseling mainly for the employees. Non-discriminatory counseling, as well as the social counseling. Social counseling in terms of social benefits, social welfare, etc. And over there, I think there is somehow covered or embedded also the topic of equal care. Of course, this topic could rise up even in a different situation, and could be therefore also part of the different or over mentioned counseling we provide at the moment.
Interesting. Also, like a more general question, maybe regarding the arts. because you mentioned that with the stereotype of the independent artists, and so I've actually like read some numbers on it also, that you know, this British report found, for example, that 8 out of 10 women, like female artists, are forced to turn down their job because of care responsibilities. And I wonder why the arts are so insensitive maybe to this question. Do you have a theory on that?
I think on some way the art could be very sensitive, because when you focus, or when the artist is focusing on this topic, they usually, but I think it's also very important to say that there is feminist arts and feminist artists, feminist thinking artists, not only men, not only women, but also men. And it's great that it's happening at the moment, and they rise up all those questions into their art, into their performances, and they try to catch the attention to those topics. On some way, I think, as I said, the artists are freelancers, and in this way, it could be very helpful, because they can facilitate much more better. They don't have those rigid working hours. They've got flexible working hours according to their needs. Somehow, as we see, it's not always the pro, because when you don't have measures or stops between the work and private life, it's very hard to facilitate sometimes. And also it has an impact afterwards, the vice versa impact. They could spare more time with the family and less with the arts, and with the creating the arts, and they have a or it could have an impact into their incomes. So generally they stay, or they could somehow prefer the stable employment and stop the artist way, and this is why probably women fall out from the market of the art, because for them it's much more easier to have a part-time job, to have stable income, and then to do their arts in their leisure time.
Yeah, interesting that you say, like, if you think it that way, freelance could have lots of opportunities, actually, like what many people might dream of in like very stable jobs. But I think it also connects to the point where you said that it's not only about doing the art, but also the whole management around it that probably, yeah, makes it so hard to survive on freelance and combining it with care responsibilities. And yep, connecting to that point of the first point you made, that was also very good that you mentioned it with the feminist artists, and also that you said that you had this bottom-up approach with the students. So also coming from like a student perspective, I wanted to ask you if you could elaborate maybe a little bit more on that, and if you see any change within the students. Is it like a broad thing, or just like a corner-ish kind of movement?
I see big changes. From 2015, I believe there have been a big campaign run by students on Academy of Fine Arts and UNPROM in Prague. It's a second university focusing on art. And over there, they brought the attention to all those topics of the position of women students in the arts. And it's very interesting to see also for me it could be ageist, but it's kind of new generation, young generation that for some topics they're very sensitive, and they are ready to have their own battles to have their independence and equal status over there. So I see the big progress. However, we are not very far, still not very far, or we could make better.
Yeah, especially if the institutions around it are so stiff to change. There's it's hard for an individual to make that change. Talking actually about ageism, because I thought of an anecdote, because I remember that I took part once in like this theater workshop, and the teacher was telling about how that especially for older actresses, it was really hard to find jobs, as most playwrights are not written for them. And so I thought of this whole aspect of ageism, and then it made me further think about like, how do you include those intersectional approaches in your work?
Yeah, generally, we would like to focus also on our different care needs, because I think it's necessary to say that it's not only about women, despite the fact that it is mainly women who are providing the care, but there are different patterns between providing care of women and of men. We see, for example, when giving a birth for women, it means that 24 hours of care starts and it ends in 2, 3, maybe 4 years, according to maternity leave or according their necessity to return quickly to the employment market. For men, when a child is born, it is a change, of course. They change their patterns and they change their providing care, but it is in a length of the hours. And interestingly, during the time period, for some of the men, the need of providing care for their children rises. For the women, it slows down a little bit, and it's also about differentiate between the care providers, between their situation, and of course not generalization. But back to your question of the age, I would like to say that there are different situation when providing care. As I've mentioned, for the grandfather, for the partner, for the grandfather, because we or in Czech Republic there have been a situation when having a child was quite quick after 18 years. So we have a generation which are in 20 years. So we've got a son who is 40, but he has 60 years mothers, 80 years grandmother, and he has already his adult children with nearly coming baby. So we can have nearly 5 generations in a row, and this provides a good perspective to apply also non-ageist approach towards the care, and to be sensitive that we can have a different mix of the care needs.
Thank you. Good points. I had some, just a second. I also wanted to ask you about whether, like, who are you working, because you mentioned other institutions that you were working with. Who is that, and is it generally now, like, is it a debate in the arts in the Czech Republic, or in general? Do you see that coming?
I would like to be very positive, but unfortunately, I don't think so. I think still it's somehow hidden, and it needs to be individuals who push the subject forward. And if they are not, or if they quit, if the initiatives quit, for example, set the bottom-up approach in Academy of Fine Arts. Well, it was 2014-15. Then there have been a so-called eco group who pushed the topics forward. And however, those young artists left the school, and the connection is missing. And the similar is with the interinstitutional approach and trying to cooperate. It's usually based on individual knowledge, individual efforts, and those topics are individual interest. And when the people get out, the activity also disappears.
Yeah, that's certainly an experience that we share with you, that like raising this awareness is also our work is mostly, you know, on a voluntary basis, and it's well kind of exhausting, to be honest, but we're here trying to change it. Yeah, my last question would be also, I mean, you already touched upon it about your event of tonight, but could you also maybe say who you invited, who's speaking today, because you already mentioned the topics, and also what are your plans for Equal Care Day 2024? We're really interested in that.
We will have a quite in-house discussion. Generally, we would like to raise those topics towards our institution. I'm very happy that our rector will join us into the discussion, because she has also her own experience with providing care. Then we try to match the experience of the lectures. We've got Darina Alster, who is our head of one of the heads of the studios, Intermedia, and she's active artist. She's focusing on feminist arts, and also she is mother of two, and she will bring the attention to the topic of feminist or equal care in pedagogy, and how could be the studio run according to those principles. And I would like to ask her also to elaborate a little more about if could be the experience of care shared and be seen as something positive when it implies into the arts itself. If it's something which women or the care could use as a pro for their art. And then we have also one panelist who is a former student, who is at the moment doctorate, who do her doctorate, who has had a child during their studies, and we would like to focus on how was it, how hard is it to be mother and student and active artist and now doctorate candidate, and how does it cooperate all in one, and what could be done to provide care also for all those partners or all those panelists from the what would they expect, what would they want, and what would help them. So this is our main point.
Sounds super interesting. I also like how you really intertwine like this personal level with the political level. So, and that's what care, I guess, is all about. Yeah. And do you have any plans for Equal Care Day 2024 yet? Last question.
Said, we are all a little bit burned out. So I'm focused on tonight, and then we will have to think about it. I think it's great to raise the question and to open the debates and to push for a change.
Yeah. We will certainly stay in contact, and we'll see what arises, how burnout we are going to be next year.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So in that sense, děkuji moc. I thank you very much for this interesting talk. Also, thank you for the audience for listening. And we really hope that your event tonight will be a great success, and that the wave of care goes through the Czech Republic. And hopefully we'll see each other again next year. And for the audience, for anyone who's interested in participating in Equal Care Day 2024, there will be a networking space at Bonfire 2 at 2 p.m. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you too. Have a nice day and nice evening. It's a great pleasure to be here.
Thank you. We will certainly.